Welcome to the Explainer. All right, today we're talking about a tool that's probably on your computer right now, Microsoft Excel. Look, most of us use it, but let's be honest, we're barely scratching the surface. So we're going to figure out how to actually master it.
Okay, so let's kick things off with something I bet a lot of you have experienced. We're calling it the certificate trap. You know the feeling, right? You put in the time, maybe even the money, to get some kind of qualification, and then you get to a real job and feel completely lost. And that feeling right there, that's the problem we're tackling today. You've got the piece of paper that says you know what you're doing, but in a real-world situation, you just freeze. It is so frustrating, but trust me, there is a way out of this.
Yeah, this really gets to the core of it. The gap between what you learn for a test and what you face in reality, it's just huge. Studying for a certificate is all neat and tidy, but an actual office job? Oh, it's messy, it's chaotic, and things are never perfect. The two just don't line up, and that's why we need a totally different way of thinking about this.
So the big question is, how do we bridge that gap? How do we conquer the practical side of Excel? Well, it all starts with a really simple but honestly super effective two-step method. Okay, look, this is going to sound almost ridiculously simple. Step 1, get a good practical Excel book. Make sure it has example files. Step 2, go through it from cover to cover, and then do it again. And again, 5 times total. Now, the magic here isn't some hidden secret. It's all about brute force repetition. You're not just memorizing stuff. You're building real muscle memory with the tools that actually matter.
Because when you do this, you're not just learning a function here or there, you are deeply mastering the core power tools. We're talking pivot tables, VLOOKUP, all the key functions, maybe even some basic macros. These are the heavy hitters, the skills that solve like 90% of the problems you'll face in a business. And before you know it, you become the go-to Excel person on your team. But, and this is a huge but, here's the twist. You could do all that, master every single function in the book, and still be totally stuck. How is that possible? Well, it's because there's something even more fundamental, more important than knowing all the functions. And this is the real secret to mastering Excel. So, is knowing all the functions really enough? The answer is a big, fat no. And here's why. You can have the most powerful, sophisticated pivot table in the world, but if the data you're feeding it is a complete and utter mess, it's useless. Garbage in, garbage out, right? And that brings us to what is probably the single most important idea you need to understand to use Excel properly. It's the idea that your data needs to have the right shape. It's a principle called vertical block stacking. It might sound a little technical, but trust me, once you get this, it's a total game changer. You'll never look at a spreadsheet the same way again.
Okay, let's make this super clear. Take a look at this. On the left, you've got the wrong way. I guarantee you have seen spreadsheets that look just like this, with the month spread out across the top as column headers. It seems logical, but it's a disaster for analysis. You can't filter, you can't sort properly, and forget about using a pivot table. Now look at the right way. See the difference? Just one column for date and one for sales. Simple, clean. And this structure unlocks the entire power of Excel.
All right, so you're probably looking at the wrong way and thinking, oh no, that's all of my spreadsheets. The idea of manually fixing that, of copying and pasting for hours, it's a nightmare. But here's the good news. You don't have to.
There is an incredible tool, and the best part is it's already built right into Excel, though most people have never even clicked on it. It's called Power Query, and its entire purpose is to take messy data and automatically reshape it for you.
And no, you do not need to be a programmer to use this thing. It's just a logical set of steps. You basically point it at your messy table. You tell it, hey, keep this column, it's fine. And then you use this magic button called Unpivot Other Columns. It takes all those horizontal months and stacks them up vertically, just like we need. In just a few clicks, you can turn that chaotic spreadsheet into a perfectly structured, beautiful table that's ready for anything. Okay, so let's bring this all together. We have these two huge ideas, the brute force learning method and the data shaping principle. Putting them together, well, that's what separates someone who just uses Excel from someone who truly masters it. It's really not enough to have just one without the other. Think about it. The brute force method gives you the raw technical skills, the how-tos of VLOOKUPs and pivot tables. But understanding vertical block stacking, that gives you the why. It's the strategy, the understanding of how data should work. When you combine the how and the why, that's when you become unstoppable. And that combination is a total transformation. You literally go from being what some people call a data janitor, someone who just spends all day manually cleaning up messy files, to being a real data analyst, someone who can take any mess and in minutes turn it into powerful insights, amazing reports, and dynamic dashboards. So I want to leave you with one final thought, a challenge, really. After this, go open up one of your most important spreadsheets, one you use all the time, and just ask yourself this one simple question. So, what shape is my data in right now? Seriously, because answering that question, that's your first real step on the path to becoming a true Excel expert.